All right, what's up, guys? We're going to take a quick look here at some of the 1949 statistics and sort of take a look and see what it is that we can figure out. And so we'll just go ahead and jump straight into this. I think I'm going to use this screen view for the time being. I'll probably pull myself over to the side a little bit here. How does that look? There you go, and we'll just go ahead and take a look and see what we're doing, or where we're at. We just finished another Sunday, of course. The Pirates beat the Cardinals 9-6 in the game that you didn't see. That was right after that doubleheader between the Giants and the Phillies. And Ralph Kiner, by the way, hit 2 home runs. He's got 18 so far this season, and boy, how many games have the Pirates played so far? They have played 39 games. He has 18 home runs. So you do the math, but Ralph Kiner is serious business. In terms of standings, of course, New York Giants are 3.5 games out in front of Pittsburgh. We'll see if that lasts, right? We have another series of doubleheaders on the 30th, and this is really where the rubber meets the road. And those teams like the Athletics that struggle with starting pitching are going to have a very hard time. You already saw what happened, of course, in this game right here, where the Athletics had to go 12 innings to win it, 2-1, and Joe Coleman threw a 12-inning complete game because there's nobody in the bullpen. That's going to start hurting them, and you're going to start seeing some problems popping up. But yeah, the National League Giants with a 3.5 game lead. American League, the Red Sox are on top, 2 games ahead of both the Indians and the Yankees. Then Philadelphia's 3.5 games out. They're probably going to end up dropping. I don't see them getting through this doubleheader in a very good manner. Then, of course, followed by the Tigers, Browns, White Sox, and Senators. Tigers might have a chance to get into it. The rest of the teams probably not. In the National League, it's the Dodgers among the also-rans who maybe have a shot at pulling in, but I've been saying this the whole time. As much as you like to think, it's going to be just like in real life, and this is one of those great offensive teams, and so on and so forth, the Dodgers need to start making a move. We're almost in June, and they need to do something. Quick look here at the expanded standings. Not too much to report on here, again, because we have so few games played. This doesn't really mean necessarily that much. I'm just looking here to see if there's any sort of a real interesting thing. One thing I will say is that the Giants have been feasting on left-handed starting pitching, but they've also been good against right-handed starting pitching. So, it doesn't necessarily mean all that much. In case you're curious, the expanded 2 standings here do have stats for things like how you're doing leading after 7 innings or tied after 7 innings, trailing after 7 innings, and so on and so forth. Again, we're so early in the season that a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter. One-run games, the record in one-run games arguably doesn't ever matter. We know that the record in extra innings never really matters. And then we can look at the Pythagorean differential and stuff like this. It's interesting to look at these columns that mean nothing here, and you kind of wonder, how was this designed and what was originally there, what was supposed to be there? Who knows? Who knows? We're not going to worry too much about this, even about the Pythagorean theorem columns. What we are going to do, so I have here on a different screen, as you can't see it, I can't get this to show up. We're going to look at the American League and the National League standings, or not standings, but stats in real life in 1949, and I'm going to just sort of do a little bit of an oral comparison as we start going through some of these standings. So don't worry about this. This will be, or some of these statistics. Don't worry too much about this. This will be relatively painless. First thing we're going to do here is we're probably going to go ahead and look at the batting and pitching totals here for each league. So we're going to look first at actually the National League. We will organize this by OPS, as we prefer to do. What you can see here is, of course, the Brooklyn Dodgers have the best offense in the National League, followed by the New York Giants. If you want to see kind of what that is here, I hope that will get out of my way. If you want to see what it is, the Brooklyn Dodgers have an 815 OPS, which is excellent for a team. The Giants then at 770, followed by the Cardinals at 759. Of course, the Cubs have an awful offense. If you've watched any of these games, you know that. In terms of things like home runs, the Dodgers have at 56, the Giants right behind them at 44. Interestingly enough, the Pirates have 33 home runs, 18 of those belong to a single player, which is a fascinating thing. The Giants are stealing a lot of bases, but they're also being caught frequently. The Pirates have only stolen 2 bases all season. Interesting how that works. Now, we're not going to worry too much about these statistics like team by team as I take a quick look over here on the side, because it's not really that meaningful at this point in time of the season. We're still pretty early. But what I want to look at is the overall statistics, the sort of rate statistics. And let's see if I can find this here. Here we go. National League batting average in 1949 in real life was 262. In the replay, it's 263. On base percentage was 334 in real life. It's 331 in the replay. Slugging percentage was 389 in real life, which is 389 in the replay. That's what we're looking for. That's pretty close. Now let's look at the American League, and it's organized by the same thing, by OPS. The Philadelphia Athletics have the best OPS in all of baseball, which matches what happened, I believe, in real life. I don't think that the Red Sox were better than them in real life, though I might be wrong. I haven't done my research that much, so that will tell you about that sort of stuff. Home runs, of course, the Yankees actually are hitting more home runs than anyone else, and surprising is to see the Browns hitting so many home runs. Looking over here in real life, of course, the Red Sox in real life had 131. But again, we're so early that those counting stats we can't really do much with. The real life batting average in the American League was 263. And here in the replay is 270. So we're playing a little bit hot. On base percentage in real life was 353 against 362. And I mean, it's a considerable difference. Slugging percentage, we're looking at 379 in real life compared to 392 in the replay. So that definitely is a difference between the American League totals. We'll move on here now to pitching. And so we'll just take a real quick look over here again at the pitching team totals. We'll start this again with the National League. Yeah, we'll sort actually by OPS again. Just because it makes more sense to me than these other choices. I have problems with ERA because of the ever-changing definition of what an earned run is. So just so you know, the New York Giants are the ones who are pitching so well, and that's really the reason why they're doing such a good job. I mean, the 669 OPS against is clearly the best in the major leagues, and that's been the big key for them. They're just not giving up a lot of base runners or a lot of extra base hits. If they can keep this up, they're going to do very well. In real life, it was a 4.04 league ERA against 4.02 in the replay. That is close for the National League. That's really close. That's actually, I would say, very, very impressive. The other analytical stat we want to look at is the WHIP, walks and hits per innings pitched. We want to look at this one because it's another rate statistic, and it's a statistic that if you're getting the walks, hits, innings pitched right, and you're getting, of course, we saw they get the batting average and batting average against right, and the ERA is close, everything else will probably be right on. The WHIP in real life was 1.404. In the replay, it is rounded to 1.41, so it's almost exactly the same. We'll take a look here at the American League now, and so let's see how this is. Well, the Athletics have the best OPS. How about that? They have the best offensive and defensive OPS in the league, and yet they are, what did we say? They're in third place, 3.5 games out, and they're probably going to end up sinking a little bit because they don't have any relief pitching. Interesting how that works. We'll take a look here again. The composite league ERA is 4.32 in the replay. That is compared to a real-life ERA. Let's see if I can find the column here. Down in pitching, 4.20 in real life. So, again, it's a little bit hot in Diamond Mind, but it's close as far as ERA is concerned. The other big thing, of course, we look at is the WHIP. Real life, the walks plus hits per innings pitched was 1.516. In the replay, it's 1.59. So that's off by a considerable amount. I'm wondering if we're not seeing more walks here in this replay than we would in real life. So one of these days, as the replay moves along, I might, if this continues, I might do a sort of a deeper dive into it. We can take a day and kind of jump into this and see where that's coming from and see if there isn't a big problem. Now, sort of out of curiosity, if you're like me, you kind of want to know this about 1949. We'll look at the fielding. We don't care about fielding percentage. The only thing I care about is double plays. Actually, we want to look at all of Major League Baseball. Interestingly enough, the Browns now have turned one more double play than the Athletics. This, of course, was the season in real life where the Athletics set the record for most double plays turned by any team in any season. It is still the record to this day and will probably always be the record. This is likely going to be one of those records that is never broken, which is interesting because most people don't know that. But if in this replay, if the Athletics don't set the record, that would be a big story. I think that both of these teams, I think actually all three, and probably including the Red Sox, are on pace to smash the real-life record for most double plays turned by a single team in a season. I'm just sort of like ballpark estimating that, but I would say, yeah, they're probably on pace to break whatever. I can't remember what the number is. It was a 219 or something, 211. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head. So we'll see what happens. We will continue to look at that every single time we look at the statistics because it's interesting. So Enough with the boring stuff. Who are the leaders? Well, we're going to go over here back to our standard reports. My apologies as usual, by the way, for this being so small. There's not much I can do about it here other than maybe using the other tool. And, oh man, what is it called? The other Diamond My Baseball statistic reporting tool, and I just haven't had the time to really dig into that. A couple of highlights here, of course. Home runs is Ralph Kiner all the way. He's got 18. Kiner might break 60. We're 38 games into the season for the Pirates, and he's got 18 home runs. He's been hitting them at a torrid pace. He's just an offensive machine. I think there's a chance in this replay that he may end up hitting 60. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how quickly he gets to 30. That's the next question. But, I mean, if he gets to 30 home runs before we're 80 games into the season, which is likely, I think there's a really good chance he'll end up hitting 60. He's got a 378 batting average, so he's leading everybody in hitting, right? By the way, in the American League, this was the year that George Kell got the batting average title. You can see that if you have superior vision, of course, you can see that Kell's not even on the batting average list. Kiner's at 378, followed by Williams at 375, and then Eddie Robinson, of all people, at 370 with the Senators. Dom DiMaggio, 363, and then Stan Musial, 362 in the National League. So by the time you get to anybody near Kiner, you got to go way down the list. On-base percentage, of course, is Ted Williams up top with 519, followed by Ralph Kiner with 503. So there's Kiner again. Slugging percentage, no real surprise here. Kiner's got a 797 slugging percentage, followed by Roy Campanella at 694. Campanella, by the way, is also second in home runs with 12, tied with Gil Hodges, which is why the Dodgers are so dangerous. Again, we'll see what happens next week, the week after, I'd say the week after next, when you got the Giants and the Dodgers. We'll have both games of the doubleheader for you. We'll see what happens. That's going to be a real interesting one. I'm going to take a quick look here to see if there's anything else that's really interested. OPS is the other thing you want to look at. Kiner with 1.300. Williams then 1.192. So the offensive bats are hot already, and we haven't even gotten to the summer yet. And yes, it does make a difference in Diamond Mine Baseball because you do have a weather system. So keep that in mind as we go through this. We're going to go here to the reports again. We're going to look at the pitching leaders just really, really quickly, again, for the entire database. So ERA, of course, is Harry Brazel with the Cardinals, 1.44, followed by Eddie Lopez with the Yankees at 1.58. Cardinals are, like 8 games out of first? Yankees are 2. There's Tiny Bonham with a 1.97, but I'm surprised that he has enough innings to qualify for this. So, I mean, for the most part, it's not really that surprising to see these players. Mel Parnell with 2.07 as an ERA. Again, my argument is in part that ERA is not really the thing we should be looking at. It's not really that meaningful. Batting average against is kind of there, but his on-base percentage against I care about more, and that's where you see Koslow with the Giants with a .260 on-base percentage against, which is good, and that's a big part of the reason why the Giants have been so awesome. In terms of number of strikeouts, let's see if we can find this here. I mean, it's not even listed here. It's a secondary stat. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to say it. What I really feel about that. Strikeouts should be on here somewhere, actually, and maybe it is on here, and I missed it. Let's see. We don't want strikeouts per 9. We just want the raw strikeout total. Here it is. See, it's right at the beginning, and I was talking too much, forgot about it. Schoolboy Rowe, Preacher Rowe, with 51 for the Dodgers, and Ralph Branco 46. Newcomb's going to be up here pretty soon. And then there's Newhouser and Trucks with the Tigers, 44 and 43. So strikeouts will get you part of the way, but it won't get you all the way. The winning percentage, of course, Monty Kennedy 7-0. And Cliff Chambers 6-1 for the Pirates, and Dave Koslow 6-2. So of course the teams that are winning are the teams that have pitchers who are winning ball games. How about that? Imagine that. And then let's just take a look really quick and see if there's anything else that's really interesting to look at. For the most part, though, there's not too much that's going on. And so that is going to be the end of that. So in terms of sort of overall analysis, where I think we are with this replay, I think that we're in very, very good shape. I am a little bit worried about the American League playing hot, but that's not too out of the ordinary for this point in time of the season. Chances are that you're going to see offense rise as the summer progresses. But then as we start getting into the business end of the season, I think you will see things go off a little bit or cool down a little bit more. I'm really impressed with this replay. I'm especially impressed with the way that the National League is right on with those statistics, with those rate statistics. We will keep an eye on this every time we have a week finished. I will have another video that will go over this, and I'll continue to have blog posts. We're a couple months away from those posts, but I'll continue to have blog posts that will come out to discuss this. Overall, I like the realism of Diamond Mine Baseball. I've always liked it, but I would argue that this is pretty effective and actually pretty good. If you're thinking about, a engine to use for a serious replay just based on those, kind of key rate statistics, I would say this is a safe one to use. It's going to give you good, realistic results without having a predetermined result or predetermined outcome. So it gets my seal of approval. We will see how other games are as well, because we're not just going to play one. Well, you know that already. I'm not just playing one replay. I'm not just playing one game. And as you know, we're going to give these games a full replay treatment. We're not just going to play like 1 or 2 games and call it good. We're not going to play a series and call it good. We go all the way because we're hardcore. I will talk with you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.